I'm coming to the cottage, which is McKinley Freeman's birthday. My man. This guy just called me because he wants me to peg him. I'm in a cult. Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be going over my 2026 goals, TBR, and new releases that I'm excited for. Starting with my goals. This year, my biggest goal. Actually, before I start, I have so many goals. Starting off with one that I'm kind of excited about. I'm gonna focus less on numbers. Now, I do have some number goals, but I've lowered them. I debated on lowering them because I don't want to make it seem like because I didn't meet last year's goals, I'm lowering it this time to meet it. That's not the case. I could have made my goals last year, but of course things happen, family life happens, and I just couldn't make it, and that's fine. But instead of doing like one book, because some people do that, they'll make a goal of one book, you know, one page, and of course they're gonna meet it. So instead of doing that, I just lowered it a little bit to something that I should be able to meet no matter what. I'm shooting for 25,000 pages, 50 books, and I actually have no social media goals. Normally I would say, oh, like I want to hit 500 followers, subscribers, whatever. I don't care about that anymore, honestly. It definitely took the joy out at some point, which actually, now that I'm talking about it, leads me into my next goal. I definitely want to be more consistent on YouTube while still being authentic to myself. Listen, life happens. Do I want to post every week? Sure. But if I don't have anything for that week, or if my video is not ready, then we're just gonna go a week with no content. And that's kind of what happened last year. Before that started happening, before I started skipping weeks, you know, I would be working on a reading vlog. When it wasn't done for the week, I would go, okay, well, I hate sit down videos, but let me just do a sit down video real quick and post it for this week. And then I gotta be done with my reading vlog for next week. Now, which I don't mind making sit down videos anymore. I'm not gonna lie. Because sometimes it gives me a nice little break from doing reading vlogs. Again, if I don't have any content ready, then I don't have any content ready. With that being said, again, I have no goals, like number goals for my YouTube, which is really the only one that I'm super consistent on. I do have an Instagram. I post on my stories. I do not post on TikTok. Ever since the whole were we banned, were we not banned, I'm like, I'm not even posting. I don't even use CapCut. I deleted that as well when that happened. So as far as YouTube goes, sure. Do I want to make it big? Sure. But at the same time, I still want to try and be as authentic to myself as I can, because I don't want to put out stuff that, I don't like this. It's rushed. I'm just gonna delete it. I hate deleting stuff. Next is the same goal that I had last year, which is I want to review every book that I read this year. I was doing so well last year. I think I got up until like June. Woo! Then we got kind of lost. The only thing that I'm kind of nervous about is when I read novellas, because I really never have much to say, but so far so good. The way I'm gonna try and keep up with it is I'm gonna use examples. So let's say 2 days ago I finished Take It Back, and then yesterday I finished Release Me. So today I start a new book. Before I finish this new book that I start, the review for Take It Back needs to be done. I only want to ever be behind 2 book reviews. Now, of course, life happens. I think right now I'm kind of behind 3 books, but that's also fine because a lot of these books, especially now that I've been reading, have been in videos. And when I make my videos, I always make sure I look at my notes, y'all. I always make sure I have notes for anything that I do. I'm not a great conversationalist, but I'm also not great at just talking freely. I always have to plan what I'm gonna say. So I can never make these videos without something being written down. The only sucky part is by the time I turn my camera on, I forget everything. So I'm literally reading off the page. It's like it's a script, which I mean, it kind of is. But anyway, so what was I saying? So yeah, so the good thing is with these videos, again, I make notes and I try to make them as detailed as possible. So if there ever is a chance where I get behind on my books, all I have to do is rewatch the video that it's in or just find my notes somewhere. The 2 or 3 books that I am behind on, I just haven't sat down and typed it, but my notes are written somewhere. I just need to put them in paragraph form so you can actually read them and it makes sense. Another thing that's really helping me is I'm also keeping another list with the books that I read, and underneath I'm kind of putting like different tropes that it has, you know, what genre it is, what video I could potentially put it in. So for example, I read a YA horror. When I was finished, I'm like, okay, if I ever make a video about books that you should read to get out of a slump, I can put that book in it. If I ever read if you like this, read this, I can put that book in it. So I'm kind of putting different categories underneath. I have another one, you know, I could make an author spotlight because I've read about 8 books of this author. I could also put that same book in the Get Out of Slump book rec video. So this is really helping with remembering. Next, I want to read whatever I want without caring about the page count. I did a pretty decent job the end of last year. I was reading books that were 400 pages, 500 pages, just like that. Now, I'm not saying, because I just said that in a video actually, like, oh, like I just don't want to read a long book right now. That's fine, but I don't want to not read a book because it's long. It's fine if I'm just not in the mood to read a long book. Right now, I'm not in a mood to read a short book. I'm normally intimidated by long books, and long books for me is 360 pages plus. 360, that's a lot. That's a lot of book. But especially what I read, you know, I read thrillers, I read romance, and to me, those are the two genres. They shouldn't really be that long. And then the romances that I do read are typically spicy. I don't need them to be that long. Now, I'm gonna clean up a goal that I had last year because I don't want to run into this problem again. So last year, my goal was to put down any book that I wasn't feeling and start another one and just revisit the other book. I still want to do that this year, and I've already started, but I kind of want to put a time limit, not an actual time limit, but before I put down a book, first of all, why am I not interested anymore? Is it just not good? Do I see myself DNFing down the line? If not, then that's fine. I'll put it down. I'll start another book. As soon as I finish this next book, I need to go back. I need to revisit the other one immediately to see if I'm kind of in the mood for it again, because I don't want to get to the end of the year and have 10 plus books that I'm still in the middle of because I paused them and just never went back to them. It happens every year, but last year was just ridiculous. There were some books that I just DNF'd because I did not have enough time and I wasn't even that far into it. So I'm like, okay, I'll just put it down, come back to it this year. And I did, but I don't want to do that. I definitely want to put a time limit on myself. The next two kind of go hand in hand, so I'm going to mention them at the same time. And hear me out. I want to stay more organized, and I also want to try my hardest to pay attention when I read books. Now, I know you're probably like, girl, you're a reader. You should know what you're reading. Yeah, but y'all know me. By the time I finish a book, hell, when I'm reading it and I stop, I forget what I've read. I don't know why. But I'm not going to say that I skim a lot, but my eyes definitely jump the page. I swear to you, I just read, I don't remember if it was a physical book or an ebook. I read the page out of order. It had 3 paragraphs. I read the second paragraph first, jumped back to the first, and then went to the third. I literally read it out of order because my eyes jumped the page. Another book that I read, I was like, hold up, I gotta restart the chapter because they started talking about pegging. Mind you, I was reading a horror book. How did we get to pegging? And then I read it and I'm like, oh, the main character was going somewhere. She texted her friend to go with her. The friend said, no, this guy just called me because he wants me to peg him. I didn't read none of that. And so I was utterly confused. So I had to reread it. So I definitely want to pay more attention to what I'm reading and honestly read it line for line. Sometimes I can get away with jumping a few lines because it's something I don't care about. Like, it's a detail that I don't need to know. And I hate stuff that's super detailed. So far, I've been doing a good job. But I think by keeping myself more organized this year is really helping me because I'm writing down all the information that I need for a book, for these videos, or for my reviews. And because a lot of times I will write it down very messily. Is that a word, messily? I'll write it down very messy. And then I'm like, okay, now that I got my ideas, now I need to like rewrite it. So I'm constantly writing down these things and it's like, okay, now the details that I would normally forget, I'm now remembering. Out of all of these goals, those 2 goals, that's gonna be the hardest one to like quantify, is that the word? That's gonna be the hardest one to like try and keep up with. I won't know until like a month later, do I still remember this book that I read? My last goal, I would like to read more queer books, books with disability, chronic illness, or impairment representation. I normally read queer books throughout the year. However, I read certain and books with queer representation. I read lots of thruples and books with polyamorous relationships. So the characters are either bisexual, gay, or lesbian. I need to definitely read more books with transgender representation, like the other letters. After bisexual, gay, and what did I just say? Bisexual, gay, and lesbian books, I definitely have read a little more books with asexual characters in them, but I need to find one that I like. I think I've read about 3 and I've given them like 3 stars. I haven't enjoyed them, so I want to find an asexual book that I really love. What's the other letters? Intersex? Is that the I? I think I confused the I with something else. But again, I want to read more from the LGBTQIA plus community, as well as books with chronic illness, disability, impairments. I honestly, I couldn't tell you one that I've read with that kind of representation. You know, I may have read some with like autism or just on the spectrum. I think I have, but that's kind of it. I have read one where the character was blind. That was a long time ago. It was a dark romance, but that's not the point. The point is I need to read more. My goal is to read at least 1 book of each for the month. So far, I have read a queer book this year, but it falls into that same category. Not that it's not queer, but again, that's all I read. I need to branch out and read more. But it's a hetero relationship, but both characters are bisexual. And right now, I am reading a book where the girl, she's 18, she's in a wheelchair. So I am reading one with disability rep. Yay. Yay me. Look at me diversifying my reading even more than it is. Now, the goal for me is to also make sure that I'm finding these kinds of books by BIPOC authors. I don't know if I just see them more often, but it's so easy to find these kinds of books by white authors. When you talk about reading diversity, that could mean anything. That could mean, you know, you read different types of genres, you read audiobooks, like different formats, audiobooks, ebooks, physical books. For me, it always means that I'm reading BIPOC books. I really need to make sure that I'm also finding these books by Black and POC authors as well, because again, it's super easy to find them by white authors in my opinion, at least from what I see on my page. So I'm really gonna need to do my research. Let's talk TBR. I'm not planning on doing a 26 in 2026, which I really thought about doing a 27 in 2026 because I'll be 27, but I don't think I'm doing that. My little list has 6 books. Well, and it's not even really books. It's just a general TBR. It has, you know, authors, different types of books, and then it has actual books. I didn't want to be super specific, even though I do have a few on here. Number 1, I would like to try and get into Beverly Jenkins. Hear me out. I'm not really a fan of historical romance. I love historical fiction. Historical romance, even though I have rated a book a 5-star. Low-key, I think if I were to read that again, I don't think I would give that a 5. But I really want to get into her work. I hear people talk about her all the time, and I can't be left outside of the club. Number 2, I would like to attempt to read some classics. Now, I'm talking about some Black classics, okay? Listen, the only classic that I can think of that I loved, even though I read it in college, was Sula by Toni Morrison. I love that book. Besides that, I don't think I've ever read a classic outside of school. Oh, I'm scared. Ah! Number 3, I would like to read some more memoirs. I prefer for them to be celebrity, even though I do have a memoir by like a regular person that's on my TBR. When it comes to memoirs, I do prefer to listen to them. I like them as audiobooks. I think they're just more engaging that way. Last year, I was able to read 2. I read the one by Jennette McCurdy, and then I read Alison Stoner's. Number 4, like I said, I do have some LGBTQIA plus books that I need to read, and books with chronic illness, disabilities, impairments. Number 5 and 6 are physical books. I do not, let me go grab it because I don't want to put the picture. I would like to read more books that I own. More specifically, Amari and the Great Game. I have had this book, we're in 2026, probably 3 years now. When did this come out? 2022? That's what it says, copyright 2022. 4 years? I don't remember if I got it when it came out. I think I did actually. It's time to read it. Then my last one is Heated Rivalry. Apparently, Ilya's and Shane's other book. I think it's like their third book or something. It's coming out in September. I do know that Heated Rivalry as a book is book number 2. However, I am planning on reading it first. I did see someone talk about the timeline of things, and Heated Rivalry out of all of the books starts off earlier. I think it starts in like 2008, whereas the first book, I think that's Kip and Scott's book maybe, or is that The Long Game? I don't know. But whoever's in the first book, their story takes place in 2017. So I want to read Ilya and Shane's book first. I still have not seen the show because I want to read the book first. I'm on the wait list for the ebook at my library, but I really want to buy it. I just don't want to spend the money. I think I have seen every scene that I needed to see that people post about from the show. The only thing that I don't know is what episodes these are in. Even though I think I do know. I think like the Vegas scene, that's like episode 3. I'm coming to the cottage is like episode 6, or is that 5? 5 or 6. Oh shoots, now I'm forgetting. But let me tell you, I've seen it all. I have a folder on TikTok labeled Heated Rivalry. I have a folder on Instagram, over 100 videos, edits, interviews, scenes from the movie, well not the movie, the show. If it's posted, I've seen it and I'm obsessed. Hey Connor. Hey Hudson. Hey. I swear to you, I'm in a cult. Some people are saying like, oh my gosh, like I haven't felt this way since like BTS, One Direction. I never really felt like this before. Like I'm obsessed. Everything that they do, I'm watching. Yeah. Let's just keep going because I'm over here cheesing. So last category are some 2026 new releases. I don't know plots for lots of these. I just know like the genre. First up is Funerals Are for the Living. This is a YA horror. On Storygraph, it was labeled LGBTQIA+, but I haven't even read what it's about, so I don't know what letter, is in here. License to Thrill is an adult romance. Keeper of Lost Children is historical. I don't know how to pronounce her name. The author of Keeper of Lost Children. Her name is like Sadiqa or Sadiqa. I don't think there's a U though. Sadiqa Johnson. She's the same author that wrote, I love that book too, The House of Eve. Love that book. Ghost in the Night is a middle grade mystery by, I don't have author names on here, by Tiffany D. Jackson. Winners and Liars is a YA mystery. Summer Girlfriend is an adult romance, maybe? Oh, well, I know it's a romance. I don't know what demographic it's technically for. That's by Christina Forrest. Love her. The Art of Loving You, I believe by Natasha Bishop, which is a romance. Laws of Solomon. This is like book 4 or 5. I want to say it's book 4 in the series by Eric LaSalle. It's a crime thriller. To Steal a Throne is a YA fantasy by Gabby Burton. One of You is a psychological suspense. And Resisting Temptation is a spicy contemporary romance that I'm super excited about by NJ Weeks. Love her down. She is actually a dark romance author. However, she did publish a contemporary romance last year, which I love. And the second book is coming out this year, not till like June. I want to say like June 25th or something. Oh, but the one by Christina Forrest, I think comes out the day after my birthday. I think it comes out June 9th, which is McKinley Freeman's birthday. My man. Hey, boo. Okay, that's it for today's video. Comment down below this emoji and or answer this question. What's one of your 2026 reading goals this year? And I'll see you next week. Bye.